What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Trey Huntsman, founder and director of Huntsman Elite Basketball. The Huntsman program / Huntsman family is involved in many different types of programming. We do everything from training, mentoring coaches, and also AAU. What you're watching right now, which I'm super excited to partner with Lazarus Tolliver from Springfield and The Wave Productions, is a segment that's coming new to you called Real Talk with Coach Trey. What's the purpose behind Real Talk? It's to make a huge impact on people's lives by me, if I'm keeping it 100, keeping it real. And what's my reason behind doing it? I was talking to Lazarus one day and I just told him this social media thing is driving me crazy. Not that social media itself is bad, but the pressures of social media and us pretending to live a life that has no issues. And so what you're going to see is the raw, ugly, the good, the great, and sometimes the sad versions of what happens in the life of Coach Trey. All right, as we get ready to dive into our first episode in Real Talk, the topic today is going to be why core values. So my wife knew that I needed to make a change in coaching. How did she know? Because I was crazy, right? I was extremely passionate about winning. And to be honest, I was a sore loser. As a coach, what does that look like? For me personally, what it looked like I didn't want to talk to anybody after a loss. I had a bad attitude. I would yell and scream at kids. I would belittle them. When we won because the kids were listening to me. When we lost because the kids weren't listening to me. But it was always somebody else's fault. And what I've learned is that A, that's not who I want to be. And what am I teaching kids? So when you look at core values, my core values are God, family, toughness, and hard work. And why did I implement that? Because for me personally, if I'm being honest, if it wasn't for God, I would be dead. I would be dead for many reasons. I'd be dead because my first family didn't work out. I'd be dead because I was a liar. I'd be dead because I was a cheater. I mean, there's just so many things that I did in my life that I was so ashamed of that if I didn't have God and I didn't know that God can forgive somebody who in my eyes was so bad that I felt like I didn't deserve to be forgiven, I wouldn't be here today. So what did God give me? He gave me a second chance. So for me, another thing that God means to me is God is a God of second, third, and fourth chances. And what I want kids to know is I want kids to know no matter how discouraged you get, there's a God that will always be with you. He will never leave you and he'll never forsake you. And the other thing I want kids to know is that this is in Jeremiah 29:11, that God has a great plan, a great future, and a great hope for you. So when I coach, I no longer coach with the intent to solely win games. I coach at a greater level now, which is one of my hashtags, bigger than basketball. I want kids to know, whether you play basketball at the next level or not, whether you're the most amazing basketball player or not, that God has a future and he's got a plan for you, and it's a good one. My next core values are family, toughness, and hard work. I instilled family because when I was growing up, I did have a family that cared for me best that they could. But if I'm being honest and transparent, our family, probably like most families, had a level of dysfunction that made me feel like at times God had like this UFO and he was just like floating around Earth and he just dropped me off on planet Earth and kept rolling. And so in my program, it's super important that my kids are in this culture or in this environment where people genuinely have their best interests at heart. So we have this thing in our program where family means we is greater than me. What does that mean? That means that we don't just focus just on ourselves. So there are people that have left my program simply because I've had conversations where the conversations have been solely consumed in what's only best for their kids. And I'm like, man, this is probably not going to be a good fit for you, because we don't only care about one kid, we care about the team. Next core value is toughness. What is toughness? Man, there's a lot there. Having the ability to be resilient. What does resilient mean? If you can imagine a rubber band, and you taking that rubber band and you pulling it as hard as you can, and once you let it go, that thing's snapping back to what its original form was. Resilient means I have the ability to go through adversity and tough times and still make it through. Toughness can also be defined as your body language. Like, how do you carry yourself when you go through tough times? And one thing I'm real big on with my kids is, man, regardless if we win or lose, we look the same, because we understand that life is bigger than just if you win and lose a basketball game. And our last core value is hard work. Listen, to the kids out there, to the adults out there, to myself, one thing that's very tough to do, if we're keeping it 100, is to be a consistent hard worker. I'm guilty of procrastinating. I'm guilty of cutting corners. But once I got my own business and I started to see the results or the fruits of me being a hard worker, man, there were good rewards. When I procrastinated, when I was lazy, I didn't reap the benefits that I would if I was working hard. And I started learning, like, everybody gets 24 hours. And what are you gonna do in your 24 hours? So what I've learned, and I want all my kids in my program to represent, to carry, to possess, is the ability to give maximum effort in a consistent way.